Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Renegade Immortal 158 based on novel. So let's start. The old man didn't dare to open his mouth, as his core energy had already escaped to his body. He feared that if he opened his mouth, his core energy would immediately disperse. In that case, if he didn't die, his cultivation level would drop greatly. The current him was completely relying on the pills he had swallowed earlier to help stop the loss of his core energy, but the effect was very little. Strands of spiritual energy came from his body. It looked like green mist. The young man in purple looked at Wang Lin and nodded. Didn't expect you to be a cultivator. Very good, on planet Ranyun, since you offended the Sun family, that is the same as. Before he could finish speaking, Wang Lin waved his right hand. The young man's body immediately trembled, his face turned pale instantly, and he fell on the ground. Wang Lin didn't kill him, as he didn't have much spiritual energy inside him and was still considered immortal. With Wang Lin's experience, this young man in purple was either the direct descendant of a cultivation family or was of a noble bloodline among mortals. However, no matter what identity they had, Wang Lin didn't care. On planet Ranyun, he was the supreme ancestor. The scene before him caused Wang Ping to gasp as he looked at his father. At this moment, he suddenly found out that his father was not an ordinary cultivator. Only a glance from his father was able to make the old man like this. Qingyi stared at the father and son. After hesitating for a moment, she stepped forward and respectfully said, "Senior, it was us who were reckless." Wang Lin picked up the wine jug, took a sip, and didn't look at her. Qingyin bit her lower lip. While she was in a dilemma, Wang Ping smiled. He was already very handsome, and now his smile made him even more beautiful. Wang Ping looked at Qingyi and asked, "Miss, is your name Qingyi?" "My name is Wang Ping. Is Miss also a cultivator?" Wang Ping's smile made Qingyi's face turn red and she softly said, "Yes, but Master has already said that before reaching the foundation establishment stage, I can't call myself a cultivator." "Your name is Wang Ping, right? Today's matter is our fault, it's just. You guys should quickly leave. Just now Master crushed the message Jade. I fear someone will arrive soon." Wang Ping faintly smiled. He didn't seem to care about this matter and began chatting with Qingyi. Just at this moment, whistling sounds came from outside the restaurant. A powerful wind blew by and three old men suddenly appeared inside the restaurant. Qingyi quickly and respectfully said, "Ancestor son." One of the old men among the three had white hair and his eyes were like lightning. He gave off a sense of pressure without being angry. After entering the restaurant, his eyes swept past the core formation cultivator sitting on the ground. He withdrew his gaze and then looked at Wang Lin and Wang Ping. As far as he could see, Wang Lin was only a mortal without any spiritual energy. However, it was the young man that caused the old man's eyes to narrow. He took a closer look and his eyes revealed a strange color. This child's talent is excellent, although his body is that of a mortal. However, his soul seems to contain the world and is filled with might. This kind of mentality is rare even among cultivators. These two people definitely aren't as simple as they look on the surface. The core formation cultivator on the ground seemed to have noticed the old man's arrival and opened his eyes. He couldn't hold in the mouthful of core energy and let out a miserable hum. Mist came from all over his body, then his expression paled and he urgently said, "Uncle, it was him who harmed me, save me." He suddenly pointed at Wang Lin. The old man's right hand formed a seal and pointed at the old man. A seal flew out and landed between the old man's eyebrows. This spell immediately expanded and formed a seal that locked down the core energy that was escaping. After he finished all of this, he gloomily looked at Wang Lin and said, "Your method sure is ruthless. Do you think my Sun family will just sit idly when they hear about this?" Wang Lin didn't even look at the old man. He put down the wine jug and calmly said, "Ping let's go." With that, he stood up and walked toward the exit. Wang Ping smiled at Qingyi. When Qingyi saw this smile, her face turned red. Wang Ping had very good feelings toward this girl. This feeling came from the fact that when her master acted against him, she tried to stop her master. After standing up, Wang Ping followed his father out the restaurant. The old man coldly snorted and stepped forth to stop them. The two old men beside him also did the same. "Let's finish speaking, then you can leave." Wang Lin's gaze was calm and he casually took a step. Although this step was simple, a thunderous roar echoed in the three old men's minds. It was as if this step didn't land on the ground but in their mind. The two people behind the old men were at the mid-stage of nascent soul. Their expressions changed greatly and then they immediately activated the spiritual energy inside their bodies and subconsciously took several steps back. This wasn't a Tao technique or spell, there wasn't even a sliver of celestial spiritual energy coming from Wang Lin's body. However, in the view of the three old men, it was something that far surpassed any spell they had seen. This was an aura that only appeared once someone had reached the peak of a generation. Anyone who had their own Tao contained the heavens and earth in their body. They could borrow the power of the heavens to create pressure. Not to mention the three old men, not even normal ascendant cultivators could resist this. The old man in the middle had the highest cultivation level, peak of the late stage of nascent soul. He was in the process of comprehending the heavens and was half a step into the soul formation stage. Wang Lin's aura was extremely profound in his eyes. It was as if his soul was directly impacted by Wang Lin, so his face turned pale and he took 2 steps back. Wang Lin walked past him and left the restaurant. Wang Ping followed, and at the moment he walked out of the restaurant, he turned around to look at Qingyi and revealed a gentle smile. Qingyi's face became even more red. Just this once. Wang Lin's voice came from outside the restaurant and slowly echoed in the Sun family cultivators' ears. It was a long time before they recovered, and when they did, their eyes were filled with horror. After leaving the restaurant, Wang Ping hesitated for a bit before catching up to this father and smiling. "Dad, do you know the Sun family? I had some encounters with them. Your father promised to shelter their family for a century." Wang Lin didn't hide anything from Wang Ping aside from the reason Wang Ping wasn't allowed to cultivate. "That girl named Qingyi isn't bad." Wang Lin looked at Wang Ping with a smile that was not a smile. Wang Ping was startled, and his handsome face showed a rare hint of red. Wang Lin and Wang Ping bought a large courtyard house in the northern part of Vast Water City. After cleaning it for a bit, they settled down. This house was very big and had many rooms. When the previous owner sold it, they left behind some servant girls as well. At this moment, a huge commotion occurred in the Sun family branch in Vast Water City due to Wang Lin's words. Since the Ran family's ancestor and carefree Shan Ren had disappeared, the Sun family took over the Ran family's position on planet Ran Yun due to Sun Shi. They became even stronger than the past Ran family and became the #1 existence on the planet. During these 20 years of change, the people of the Sun family became arrogant. Vast Water City also had a branch of the Sun family. At this moment, 3 soul formation elders were sitting in the Sun branch family home's main hall. Before them stood all the people involved in the incident at the restaurant. This was the first time Qingyi had been involved in a situation like this, so she was very nervous. She had her head lowered and had a respectful demeanor. Her master, the core formation cultivator, was standing beside her. However, his face was pale and his cultivation had fallen from the core formation stage to the late stage of foundation establishment. One of the Sun family elders was a red-faced old man. He slightly opened his eyes and gently said, "This person really said that?" The late-stage nascent soul old man who tried to stop Wang Lin quickly nodded and said, "Junior definitely didn't hear wrong. That person clearly said just this once." A cold snort came out from a green-robed old man, then his eyes became cold and he said, "It seems someone wants to provoke my Sun family. This person can cause a core formation cultivator's core to collapse with one gaze and made 3 nascent soul cultivators retreat with 1 step. I fear he is at the soul transformation stage." The final elder calmly said, "What about a soul transformation cultivator? Our Sun family's ancestor is still here, and there is also that senior that will protect us for a century. Not even the Huan family from Planet Thousand Illusion would dare to provoke that senior. With him around, our Sun family will not collapse." The red-faced elder spoke a second time. "What is this person's family name?" The cultivators remained silent for a long time. The late-stage nascent soul old man wryly smiled and said, I don't know, but it seems this outer family member talked with them. Perhaps she would know. The red-faced elder's gaze fell on Qing Yi. Do you know? Qing Yi's body trembled. After pondering for a bit, she shook her head. Junior doesn't know. What guts? The red-faced old man's eyes narrowed. With his experience, he was able to tell at a glance that the girl was lying. Qing Yi bitterly lowered her head and softly said, Junior really doesn't know. The red-faced elder let out a cold snort, then he stood up and said, let's put this matter aside. I have already informed the family about this matter and they will send a soul transformation cultivator to deal with this. As for this outer family member, since there's someone else in her heart, kick her out of the Sun family. This old man wants to see on what basis this person dares to say such arrogant words as just this once. On planet Ranyun, no one dares to speak like this to my Sun family. In the northern part of Vast Water City, the new sign for Wang Lin's home had already been put up. Wang Lin personally wrote the 2 characters, Wang Mansion. Wang Lin didn't replace the servant girls in the mansion and kept using them. This way the mansion was a lot less lonely. Late at night, the moonlight fell. Wang Lin and Wang Ping were sitting across from each other in the back study. Wang Lin calmly said, Ping 19 years of ordinary life, 8 years of adventure, and next I'll give you 30 years of wealth. A person's life contains joy and sorrow, you should know it all. Being rich and poor are also the same. Wang Ping silently pondered. After a long time, he faintly smiled. His eyes were bright as he asked, Dad, is this the compensation for not letting me cultivate? Wang Lin looked at Wang Ping and slowly said, yes. His gaze went over Wang Ping and fell into the distance outside the window. In a place where Wang Ping couldn't see, there was a hint of sadness in Wang Lin's eyes. This sadness was so strong that no one knew. Wang Lin couldn't reveal this secret no matter what, even though he knew that Wang Ping had buried his wish to cultivate along with a trace of resentment toward him. Ping it is not that father doesn't want you to cultivate, but it's just, you can't cultivate, Wang Lin sighed in his heart. The sadness became even stronger. Wang Ping slowly asked, Dad, what is wealth? Wang Lin withdrew his gaze and calmly asked, what kind of wealth do you want? Dad taught me that a person should walk against the heavens and not be pressured by the world. Meet a mountain, climb over it, meet a river, go through it, meet an ocean, cross it, and never give in to the world. Since father doesn't want me to cultivate, then I want to become supreme ruler amongst mortals. Wang Ping looked at this father. If you want to, you can. Wang Lin closed his eyes. Wang Ping had grown up. Under Wang Lin's influence, he gradually gained his own beliefs and views on the world. He was no longer the child that always listened to his father, he now had his own thoughts and ideals. Wang Ping looked at his father and whispered, I don't want to be a supreme ruler that is handed to me, I want to obtain it myself. Wang Lin calmly said, yes. He waved his right hand and a shadow walked out from behind him and then walked into Wang Ping's shadow. With this, you can do anything on planet Ranyun. Wang Lin got up. He didn't look back at Wang Ping as he walked out of the study. His back looked a bit crestfallen. Wang Ping opened his mouth and seemed like he wanted to say something. However, in the end, he couldn't say it out loud and could only silently ask in his heart, Father, you can give me everything. So why won't you let me cultivate? Pinger doesn't want to cultivate for himself but for the promise from back then. In order to accompany you forever. Father, you are so lonely. But why? As Wang Lin stood in the courtyard under the moonlight, his shadow was stretched very long. He turned to his own room, lied down on his bed, and softly said, one day you will understand. However, I hope that day will come slower. In fact, I hope you never find out why. That night, Wang Ping didn't sleep. 3 days later, a person arrived in Vast Water City. This person was wearing a black coat and looked rather old. After he arrived at Vast Water City, he went to the Sun family branch. All of the cultivators in the Sun branch family had come out to greet this cultivator. Even though they had already guessed that the person who would come must be a soul transformation cultivator, when the 3 elders saw who came, they all gasped and became even more respectful. Greetings, Vice family head. This person was Sun Chiming. Because of Wang Lin's matter, his status in the family had increased. Also, his cultivation had already reached the late stage of soul transformation, so he was promoted by Sun Shi to become the next family head. Sun Chiming didn't speak any nonsense and directly asked, "Where is the person?" These people in the family didn't know the meaning of being able to break a core with just one gaze, but he was well aware. Even though he could do it, he couldn't cause 3 nascent soul cultivators to retreat with just one step without using any spells. This kind of thing could be explained if a spell was used. However, if what the Jade said was true and no spell was used, then this kind of thing could only be done by an old monster at the ascendant stage. It was absolutely impossible for an ordinary cultivator to do this. The Sun family had very deep roots in Vast Water City and had long since tracked down where Wang Lin and his son were at. At this moment, a guide quickly led Sun Chiming there. "Family head, that person is too arrogant," saying something like just this once. To think someone would dare to say that to the Sun family. The elder in green began to speak, but Sun Chiming frowned and shouted, "Shut up." The green-robed elder trembled and immediately shut up. "A small matter like this and all of you made a big fuss about this. This person was already lenient, but you are all ungrateful." Sun Chiming's expression was gloomy as he coldly looked at everyone. Sun Chiming said, in a serious tone, "The Sun family is large and is number 1 in planet Ranyun. However, all of this was obtained at a miserable price. If you all remain like this, then one day you will bring a big enemy upon the Sun family. Grandpa Sun, your Sun family has the protection of that senior. Even if the enemy is strong, I fear they won't dare to provoke you." The person who spoke wasn't a member of the Sun family but the purple-robed youth who clashed with Wang Ping. Sun Chiming's eyes fell on the young man and he calmly said, "Little boy from the Yun family, this matter started because of you. Prepare yourself, for this matter might not be so easily handled." This purple-robed young man was named Yun Wufeng. He was a member of the Yun family from planet Cloud C. Planet Cloud C was one of the main planets of the northern part of the All-Heaven star system. This person's talent was too poor to cultivate, so he was considered an external family member. He came here with the Yun family's caravan, but because of Qingyi, he didn't go back with the caravan and remained here. 4 ordinary cultivation families, before one's cultivation reaches the soul transformation stage, they can't leave the planet. However, for a big family like the Yun family, they had ways of bringing people below the soul transformation stage out of their planet. Due to his bad talent, he wasn't nurtured by the Yun family. However, here on Plant Ranyun, just based on his identity, all of the cultivation families were extremely polite to him. After all, the Yun family was the number 1 family on planet Cloud C and was even more powerful than the Huan family. Yun Wufeng coldly snorted in his heart. Although he didn't have any cultivation, as long as he was in the northern part of the All-Heaven star system, no one would dare to provoke him, as doing so meant making an enemy out of the Yun family. After incoming to the northern part of Vast Water City, Sun Chiming and everyone following him stopped 100 feet from the Wang mansion. Sun Chiming's expression was gloomy. When he saw the 2 words Wang mansion, he frowned. Named Wang, when he entered Vast Water City, he scanned it with his divine sense and found nothing wrong. He had just scanned this place once more and it was the same. After pondering a bit, Sun Chiming stepped forward and loudly said, "The Sun family's Sun Chiming greets fellow cultivator." This voice contained celestial spiritual energy, so it clearly entered the ears of every single person inside the mansion. Shortly after, a small fellow came out. He looked at the Sun family and said, "Master ordered you all to leave." Before Sun Chiming could speak, someone from the Sun family began to sneer. The person who sneered was the red-faced elder. He didn't even look at the little fellow and coldly said, "What a big attitude. Do you really think my Sun family is blind?" With that, he stepped forward and charged directly toward the mansion. Sun Chiming frowned hard as he stared at the words Wang Mansion. He was about to stop the old man but then paused. The red-faced elder was at the soul formation stage. He closed in with one step and stepped directly through the door. However, just as his right foot landed, his face turned deathly pale. It was as if there was an invisible force coming from his mansion. It made his mind tremble and he coughed out a mouthful of blood. He staggered back several steps with his face pale and eyes filled with aghast. Sun Chiming's expression changed greatly. At that moment, he felt the aura of an ascendant cultivator. What shook him the most was that he was familiar with his aura. Almost without any hesitation, Sun Chiming quickly grabbed the red-faced elder and threw him backward. He respectfully clasped his hands and said, "Sorry for disturbing Senior's cultivation. Junior will leave now." With that, he waved his sleeves and suddenly disappeared along with all the Sun family members. When they reappeared, they were inside the main hall of the Sun family branch in Vastwater City. No Sun family member is allowed to go within 1,000 feet of that mansion. Anyone who disobeys will have their cultivation wasted and will be expelled from the Sun family. Even until now, Sun Chiming's heart was pounding and his forehead was covered in cold sweat. Only he has the cultivation to cause a core to crack with just one gaze. The Sun family members had never seen Sun Chiming like this. Also, Sun Chiming had taken them away so quickly that they couldn't help but tremble. The green-robed elder looked at the red-faced elder whose expression was ashen and whose nascent soul was about to collapse. The green-robed elder shivered and asked, "Family head, that? Who is that?" Sun Chiming coldly snorted and said, "You guys sure have guts to provoke him. You all should know that Senior. Even if the old ancestor was here, he would have to be respectful. It was all because of this person that the Sun family has what we have today. Could it be? Could that person be?" The green-robed elder's heart trembled as he thought of a person. Sun Chiming stared at the old man and nodded. At this instant, everyone in the Sun family turned deathly pale. Just this once. This phrase emerged in their hearts. Even the purple-robed young man seemed to have realized something. He thought for a moment and then his expression became extremely ugly. He clearly remembered that when he told the elder in charge of the caravan that he wanted to stay, the elder told him that he must never provoke one person on planet Ranyun. That person was Shu Mu, who had swept through the Huan family and made the Qian and Shu families not dare to intervene at all. The name Shu Mu had spread across the entire northern region of the All-Heaven Star system in the past 30 years or so. After all, the battle at the Huan family was too shocking. It could even be said that countless cultivators felt that the battle was too terrifying. While feeling terrible, Yun Wufeng returned to his room in the Sun family's house. Qing Yi was sitting in his room with a pale expression. Her cultivation was sealed, so she was like a mortal. After being driven out of the Sun family, she was caught and brought here. In the Sun family, there would naturally be people who were willing to suck up to the Yun family. After Yun Wufeng returned to his room, he had no mind to bother with Qing Yi. He stared at the candle and his heart was filled with regret. Qing Yi stared at Yun Wufeng. Her eyes were cold. "It was all because of you. If not for you, I wouldn't have provoked that Shu Mu's son. It was all because of you." Yun Wufeng suddenly turned his head and stared at Qing Yi. Qing Yi didn't speak, but her eyes were cold. However, the next instant, her eyes jerked wide open as she stared behind Yun Wufeng and revealed a look of disbelief. Yun Wufeng was startled. Just as he turned around, his vision turned black and he fell to the ground. Qing Yi quickly got up and respectfully said, "Senior." Wang Lin stepped out from the shadows and sat down. He held a jug of wine and drank a mouthful before he slowly said, "Your talent is pretty good. Spend a lifetime with Wang Ping and I'll gift you nascent soul cultivation." Qing Yi trembled as Wang Ping's image appeared in her mind. Her face turned red and lightly nodded. 3 days later, Wang Ping left, and Qing Yi followed beside him. Wang Ping left Vastwater City with his ideals. He was not willing to live a peaceful life, he wanted excitement. Wang Lin stayed here by himself. On the night Wang Ping left, he drank a lot. Originally, thanks to his cultivation, he wouldn't be drunk, but he was drunk that night. This was the first time he had gotten drunk in more than 800 years. For the first time, without him using any spells, he looked even older. Life continued and time slowly passed. The irreversible reincarnation cycle continued and 3 years passed in the blink of an eye. During these 3 years, Wang Lin had heard nothing from Wang Ping, and he didn't deliberately search with his divine sense. Since he gave Wang Ping freedom and choice, he wouldn't stop Wang Ping. During these 3 years, a sect appeared in the northern part of planet Ranyun. This sect was named the School of Heaven. This sect only had mortals and didn't affect cultivators. The development of the School of Heaven was extremely fast. It gradually spread from the northern part of planet Ranyun like a wildfire and grew even fiercer. Rumors spread out like snowflakes that gradually fell. The rumors said that the leader of the School of Heaven was an immortal and that there was always a woman beside him. Time swept by and another 7 years passed. Wang Lin now looked even older. The development of the School of Heaven was like a rolling snowball. It continued to grow stronger. There were even representatives of the school in vast Water City. During autumn of this year, the autumn wind blew by as Wang Lin walked out of his house like usual to the not far away inn and quietly drank. His eyes were foggy, as if he couldn't see anything. He just silently stared outside the window as if he was waiting for something. The waiter in the inn had long grown accustomed to this old man. After bringing wine and food, he went to serve the other customers. As midday arrived, more and more people arrived in the inn. Bursts of noise echoed in the inn. It was rather lively. Have you heard that the School of Heaven now occupies a majority of planet Ranyun, becoming the #1 sect in the 3 empires? Even our vast Water City has a branch of the School of Heaven. I even went to see it a few days ago. My neighbor, Zhong is a member of the School of Heaven. They even hand out grain every month. The 3 big empires are Da Qin, Di Shan, and Chen Yun. It was said that in the Northern Empire, Di Shan, almost all of their citizens accepted the teachings of the School of Heaven. With how the School of Heaven is developing, it won't be long before the 3 big empire act and destroy it. Not so, this School of Heaven has already developed for 10 years. If they wanted to destroy it, they would have already acted. I'm more interested in the relationship between the leader of the School of Heaven and the woman that always follow him. Wang Lin calmly drank his wine. It was as if everything he heard had nothing to do with him. His gaze fell into the distance. It was as if he could penetrate into the distance and see Wang Ping, who was middle-aged but still filled with spirit. This video will end here.